Hi, Teresa. Welcome to our global conversations about boundaries. I'm Sarri Gilman, and this is Teresa Posakony with me. Welcome, Teresa.
Hi, sorry. It's just so great to be here with you and to get a chance to talk to you and your community.
Yes, well, I got to meet you at a conference where you were presenting, and I was so moved by the things that you were doing because in my newsletter just a couple months back, we were talking about polyvagal theory and about Deb Dana's course, where she teaches people different ways to get in touch with your nervous system to help with anxiety and help with depression. And then I end up at this conference and you happen to be teaching on different ways to work with your nervous system,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yes, balancing our nervous system is so central to all aspects of both physical and mental health and just even navigating life. It's so important for learning.
Yeah, and during these times, there's been this just explosion of anxiety for people and depression. So it would help if you could share a little bit about how working with our nervous systems can help with that.
So our bodies are always talking with us. They're always sending information to our brain. Most of the information that comes to our brain comes from our bodies. And they're here supporting us. These are our vehicles that get us through all those twists and turns in life, all those stressful moments. And when we come through something as big as a pandemic or come through a challenging time in our life for what all of those reasons, it's like our body is just taking care of us the whole time. So it's like all that emotional energy gets stored in our bodies because our bodies are helping us get through it. And then once we're through, it's like, and we have a moment, lots of times we can even forget that we've stopped breathing along the way. So finding the ways to come back into ease, to restore our nervous system is just very essential. And right now there's been such a heightened amount of stress that we're finding our ways that we can also really work with these restorative practice to take care of our nervous systems and our bodies and our brain.
Now, will these restorative ways that we work with our nervous system, will this work for everybody?
So every body's different, every brain's different. So we have neurodiversity. So everybody has both stress reflexes and relaxation reflexes. Okay, so there's ways that for each person, it's like, oh, like when I go into a stress reflex, that's how it is in my body. And then everybody has ways that they can activate their relaxation reflexes. They can find ways to feel more comfort, feel more ease, find more breath, get more circulation and oxygen to the brain. Everybody finds that. And what ones work for one person or another can be different because of that neurodiversity.
Oh, what a great way of framing that we have lots of ways that we work with relaxing our bodies. And one of the things that I've noticed with people in these particular times is if we just scratch just below the surface, there are tears.
Absolutely.
People are carrying a lot of tears. And, I really related to what you just said about we carry so much in our bodies.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm seeing that in so many people. So what are some great for people that, aren't really sure what brings them into relaxation? Let's do something together
Let's do
right
it.
now that everyone can try with us, because
Everyone
I've
can
been in the
do this.
room with you, Teresa, and I
I
know you like to get
know.
everybody trying something. So all of you listening right now, we're going to do something with Teresa, and she's going to walk us through a couple
Yes.
things to
And
just help you right now.
And I love it because when people come into a session with me, a class, a program, or even just start with the ease keys, It's just like they're always so surprised. They walk away feeling better. Some people are so relaxed that they like, you're like, I'm just going to go take a nap right now, but that's because the stress has been so tight in their bodies. We've been really working from a chronic stress response. And so sometimes there can be a lot of emotion, even if we just start breathing again, and so that, this is an emotional gate right here in our jaw. We can hold it together for a long time, and then when we release that and we start to feel more ease, then that emotion can start moving. So sometimes even when we just do something as simple as starting to breathe, like then all of a sudden this emotion that's been pent up, our body's taken it on for us, those issues in the tissues are there, then all of a sudden,
I love how you call this an emotional gate.
this is an emotional gate. So we're going to start here, and because it's so cool, like there's like okay, I'm going to just keep it together. So it also is a gate for our nervous system and our breath, so and our voice, all of it right here in this little bit. So today I'll share with you the 3 crucial inches. Like if you only have 3 inches to take care of in your body, we'll talk about those today. And
Great.
yeah. How about that? Okay, are we ready?
We're ready.
Ready. Okay, so let's start with the jaw, since we're already talking about this as an emotional gate. And just that thing you said about, it's like, oh, as soon as you scratch below the surface, there's tears. Okay, so I just want to invite us just to notice how you're breathing right now as we're starting. It's just your starting place. And sometimes when I ask people, what do you notice about your breath these days? A lot of people just are simply unaware. So it might be shallow in your throat, might be high in your lungs, or it might be like deep in your lungs or your whole body. So just notice what's happening with your breath as we're getting started. This is the starting place, is becoming aware. And now notice also if there's any tension that in your jaw that you're aware of. And this is a place that people commonly hold stress. I know. There you go. You're already doing it. And now follow, and yawn. Oh, and it could be a pretend yawn or a real yawn.
Oh my God. I was reading that when dogs do that, when dogs yawn, they're relaxing. They're sending a relaxing signal. And if you yawn at your dog, they get that as, oh, it's okay to relax.
And they're trying to get it so you relax too. So like as soon as we relax our jaw and find a sigh, and it's just like it's just like gravity takes your jaw. It's like a heavy jaw. It's just we've been held up, so gravity can hold that for you. Soft cheek, soft jaw.
Nice. And I can feel that.
You can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it softening. Yeah.
The whole thing softens. And what do you notice that softens? Sorry.
Right along here, it feels like this line just dropped.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's more space between here and maybe my neck.
Right. So now there's some more ease right in here. All these neck muscles start to soften, and your trachea is right here too. So you opened up your soft palate. There's room for your breath to come in.
I can actually feel more air coming in as we're talking.
Yeah. So that's why when we yawn, I hope in all our meetings that yawning becomes popular. This relax your jaw, find awe. Because lots of times we're trying to hold back our yawns. So we lock it up really fast. So or when you come out of a stressful moment or something that's felt emotionally intense.
I really like that thought that you just shared, that, to be conscious of using your ability to yawn right after you've come out of a very tense moment or a tense interaction, that you can stop and you can yawn, and you can work with your breath and release a little of that and give and acknowledge that what you just did was stressful.
Yes, what we did was stressful. And we were working with a group together when we met.
Mhm.
And folks were saying like, oh, we're grinding our teeth at night and there's so much
Mhm.
jaw tension. They had like this chronic, when we were asking the group, there was chronic jaw tension in the group, you know. And so this is a place we've held so much tension, you know, and anytime we go into fear, it's a place that can lock up a lot of tension. So just this relax your jaw, find awe is the ease key. Ah. Yes, that's
Nice.
your first ease key. And so that some people tell me though, this isn't where I hold my tension. I hold it in my neck or I hold it in
Oh,
my
that's me. I'm the neck person.
You're the neck person. Yeah. So like there's this like when, you know, like some people, oh, it's my neck, it's my shoulders where I hold that. You know, so when I'm stressed or tense, that I hold it back here in my neck. And like then low back's probably third. Okay. So I
Yes.
probably the shoulders and the neck's first, the jaw second, and then this low back.
I work with a lot of people that hold it in their low back, and then they get a lot of back pain.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll work with that one too. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So are we ready for another ease key?
Sure. Yeah.
And
I'll
and
take all the ones
I'll
you
take
got,
them.
Teresa.
Like, please, please, please. And this is one of the crucial inches. And then the other crucial inch is right here with our brainstem, you know, and what's happening in the back of the spine right here. So the ease key for this is first just become aware. The ease key is called brain balloon up. And before we begin, you just notice your starting place, like what's happening with your neck right now. And what's happening with your head position? Is your head more forward of your neck, like this forward head position, or is it more aligned? Just notice what's happening with your head position and what's happening with your shoulders right now. So we're just dialing in our awareness, the work of awareness, to just see what's going on. Like, oh, that's what's going on right now. In another minute, if I looked 5 minutes later, it'd be different. But right now, this moment, that's my awareness. What's happening with my neck, the top of my neck, you know, and then on shoulders. And now from here, just imagine that your head is filled with helium. And like a balloon, it just gently floats up with gravity. And then if you like, you know, some people just like, oh yeah, you can feel that, you know, if you watch a helium balloon, it floats up in the wind like this, you know. So just like that helium balloon, and see if you can create a little more space or breath right at the top, space right at the top of your brainstem. And if you like, some people like putting their, you know, hands on one ear and then the other, and imagining there's a balloon on either ear. So we're creating a lot of space right at the base of our brainstem. And this is our crucial inch. I mean, you were talking about polyvagal theory, that 10 of the 12 cranial nerves, including the vagus, start in the brainstem. So if we just take a minute to take care of our brainstem, all this communication between our brain and body open up. All this ease. Okay, so now as you're here, just imagine that helium balloon goes up on the inhale. And then on the exhale, just feel your shoulders relaxing.
Nice.
On the inhale, let's take a couple more. On the inhale, imagine that helium balloon floating up. And on the exhale, feel your shoulders relaxing. And just give yourself another breath. Inhale, feeling that balloon floating up. And that exhale, feeling your shoulders relax. And just notice what changed.
Well, something that you just said that is also really interesting is how differently we communicate when our bodies are holding all this tension versus when we're in a more relaxed, at ease, as you call it, ease state.
Yes.
Our communication is completely different.
It's completely different. Yes. And it has a lot to do with locking up here, you know, As soon as there's tension in my jaw, um, then there's tension in my voice. Okay, so I start signaling danger to other people, whether I mean it or not. So like if I, just try to give you some instructions or advice, like, go ahead and get your brain balloon up, relax your jaw and find awe. This is what it sounds like with my jaw tense. I'm not trying to do anything different.
Right.
This is just me saying, brain balloon up with the tense jaw. So then if I relax my jaw, find awe. Now I can say, relax your jaw, find awe. Like as soon as our jaw tension releases and this tension releases in our neck, our voices have a whole range of modulation available, that we don't have when we have tension. And I read an article around how our voice is like our nerves for our voice and our auditory processing are more like the birds than they are like the primates. Like we follow that bird sounds, and that's so beautiful to me. Like you can hear in the bird sounds when they have a sense of danger or that they have a sense of the joy of the morning, and
Yes.
we have that with each other. We're signaling each other all the time too.
That's what I think in therapy, many, especially with couples, what many people are responding to is that tension in the body, the tone, but really the tension that's coming across where the words may not match up
Right.
with what the body is really saying.
And so I was one of the people I was talking with recently, and he says his partner always says, well, it's the tone of your voice. It's not what you're saying, And it's like, oh, and I said, it's your jaw tension. And he's like, oh, it's my jaw tension. Oh, I'm holding all this stress in my jaw from my job. And then when I come home, then it's hard on my kids, So,
Mhm.
walking through the front door, relaxing my jaw, finding awe, releasing that tension. I walk into the differently to be with my kids or my family or my partner or, my housemates. And so we can let go of the tension we hold unconsciously, and then we mirror it to each other. We actually have these mirror neurons in this premotor area of the brain. And this is our, the sensory motor area. And then this premotor area, it knows what's happening with tension long before what something comes out of the voice. So all these ways we're learning and adapting
Mhm.
have so much to do with how we're mirroring tension with each other. And so, we can also mirror ease.
Well, this
What
is
a
so helpful. Also,
superpower.
when I think about people who have maybe a partner who's ill that
Yeah,
they're caring for,
absolutely.
and that they
An
want to
elder.
bring a sense of ease around them rather than tension and intensity.
Yeah. And
Um,
if I'm worried about someone, there's all sorts of things that happen in my body. I'm contracted around that. And so I talk to him in a really different way. It may even sound like advice. So I can just say I feel worried and that's okay. And do my little self-regulation practices, find a little more ease. Then I can be with them a little differently. That soft eyes, those soft cheeks. And then my voice changes if I have soft eyes and soft cheeks.
mm. So we were moving down the spine to the low back. For our low back people
Okay,
that are
I'm
listening.
not done up here
Oh, we're not. Okay.
because of the link between the shoulders and the neck. Okay, this is so common. Like we lock up like this. It's a turtle instinct. We tuck into the shell of our shoulders. And so this is so common. And this stress reflex, it's like it's our freeze state. And so I want to talk a little bit about this area. And this is our clavicular diaphragm here. We have our respiratory diaphragm, and this is the clavicular. And this whole thing kind of locks together. A lot of people notice it when their shoulders are by their ears. And so let's just do a little thing here and air out under your armpits a little and find some wind beneath your wings. Okay. And you can even rotate your hands forward like this and see what that's like. and some people can only do it a little because they have shoulder issues. So theirs is a little smaller as they air out under
Mhm.
their armpits. But see, once we create space in this upper rib basket, then there's room for our breath. There's room for our lungs. The lungs
Oh, I
plug in
could feel more
right
air coming in that
here.
way. Mhm.
Yes. Your lungs plug in right underneath your clavicular diaphragm. So if I'm contracted here, there's less room for my lungs. There's less oxygen going to my brain. So,
Ah.
like getting that open in that clavicular
Ah.
diaphragm, all of a sudden there's room for my lungs. Okay. So, and sometimes when I'm on my laptop, there I am, the whole thing. And so if I open the clavicular diaphragm and type, now my brain's getting circulation all the time. So much more oxygen and circulation in my brain just with that simple move.
Oh, that's great.
I
I love going out and flapping my arms,
know.
but now I know why.
Now you know why. And I just taught, I just did a keynote for an early learning conference for Hawaii and their early learning. And it was entitled, Everyone Deserves a Chance to Fly. And so
Perfect.
Lessons from the birds for how we can help all our kids to flourish.
Nice.
Well, the birds, the turtles, and the four-leggeds got in on that keynote.
Yes. Oh, I
So
love
fun.
when you bring us to an animal like that.
Yes. And
Because
so as soon as the sternum drops, it's hard to get off the ground if you're a bird. So they actually need to open this whole space and be in this defying gravity. Gravity gets us down, this whole thing contracts. And so just defy gravity up, brain balloon up. Yeah, right there.
yeah, our helium balloon for our
Yes.
brain.
Yes. And
Mhm.
now there's room
Nice.
for our lungs. And so now that oxygen's moving. So that's the end of taking care of this top of the spine. So
Great.
and so just thinking about that vagus, it's right here. So this is the second crucial inch, is right here at where your brainstem, right at the base here, goes in. And so as soon as I have that forward head posture, it's cutting off some of the communication and circulation to my brain. And so just that lengthening of the spine,
Mhm.
that's your crucial inch number 2. Okay, are you ready for crucial inch number 3?
Oh, yes, we'll take it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we've done a good work taking care of the top of our spine. And whatever is happening at the bottom of our spine is happening at the top of the spine, and vice versa. The line I laugh about for this one is, as above, so below. So whatever is happening at the top of my spine is mirrored or reflected at the bottom of my spine. So if my tailbone's tucked, I'm going to be in a forward head posture. Okay. If I'm hyperextended, I'm going to be locked up here. Okay. So whatever's happening with our pelvic bowl and the base of our spine, really sets up the whole support structure for all of our well-being. So I'm just going to invite a really simple ease key. There's a few different points, but just wag your tail.
Okay.
So now our four-leggeds are finally we've got this going on, but just getting this some mobilization in our tailbone. It can be really small, just a centimeter, a millimeter. But if I have some movement in the base of my spine, in the tailbone, that brings that energy all the way up. So the cerebral spinal fluid goes up from around the bottom of the tailbone, up around your brain and back down. So it's a fountain. So this little movement, it's like, if you crimp the hose in your fountain or you're hosing the garden, cuts off the circulation.
Yes.
Same here for our cerebral spinal fluid flow. So just mobilizing that tailbone brings all that energy up to our brain. Gets all of those root nerves coated with cerebral spinal fluid. So we're working with that. The natural rhythmic nature of our bodies and our breath. We're dynamic and adaptive. So once we have that going, we're in a more dynamic posture. Yeah. And so then there's the question I used for the early learning conference is, when you wag your tail, what else moves? So this vital energy to all our organs is part of it.
Mm, wow. This is so helpful. And, I'm thinking about people that, for their jobs may find themselves kind of locked in a particular body posture. I know one of my daughters is always, she's a physical therapist, and she's always saying, Mom, don't sit so much. It's not good for you. You need to get up and move around. So she's encouraged me, and it worked. I learned to take more breaks in between sessions and to get up and always walk around and flap my wings, and because that
It's really key. And right
sitting
now,
is not what we're made for.
and we didn't learn to sit properly.
Mm.
That's a lot of it. We have a support system right at the base of our torso. There's 4 bones. And you've got a physical therapist in your life. So, the sitting bones are on your left and right, and then the tailbone's in the back and the pelvic bone is in the front. So, if that tailbone's tucked under, and most people in their seated posture have that tailbone tucked under, just then that your support system's not in place. So finding these sitting bones, like getting that pelvic floor connected, then, like if I am on all these video calls, which I am, or working at my computer, I can have that, make sure I'm, sitting to support my body. And that supports my heart and lungs and my brain. So, finding this place where that, there's good balance and mobility, that supports my whole body. Yeah. So sitting to support your body.
There's a movement with you, a fluidity with you that almost feels like dancing
I know.
as you go through these exercises. Is that somewhere in your?
Well, yes, I've been trained in a lot of different somatic practice as well as, neuroscience based. So there's the 2 somatic, I've had 3 different somatic schools that I've been in my own both healing journey, but also in the work of what I do with communities. And so one is Aston Kinetics, so the work of Judith Aston, and another is the Alexander method. And they both talk about, our relationship with gravity, like, oh, we're all living in relation to gravity. So how are we in relation to gravity? And they both have exquisite teachings around, our seated posture and how this supports all aspects of our health. So so we, this, how we sit, move, breathe, and stand, those habits start the moment we're born.
I know, I just feel like everyone needs to learn these things. So if people are listening and they're getting it and they're realizing I could go deeper, I could use more of this sort of work on my posture and on my body and on my breath. Do you do coaching? Can they reach out to you?
Yes. So our website is powerofeasekeys.com.
Mhm.
And we have free downloadables. There's videos. You can download our course manual that has all the instructions. You can come join a live class. We have a 2nd level class, which is understanding the anatomy of self-regulation. There we go into, for all those that love the exquisite anatomy details, like how exquisitely beautiful these bodies are. You can come with us in the journey and all the aspects of the nervous system in the vagus, and all our nerves have both comfort aspects and stress aspects. And so once you start studying, oh, that's the ways that my body can come into comfort or ease. Like we can do everything from ease, absolutely everything. And so
Even the hard stuff, right?
even the hard stuff.
Facing even the hardest things in life, if we learn how our body can come into a state of ease
then that's
while
always there
doing
for,
that,
yes.
it's probably less difficult, right?
Well, I like to imagine that I'm filled up my reservoir of ease.
Mhm.
And then when I go through a stressful period of time, then I can, draw on that reservoir. And then I also know how to fill it up afterwards,
Mhm.
so I know how what creates, comfort and connection to myself and to the world around me.
Mm.
How do I have that place of coming home to that comfort and connection within?
Oh, I love your work, Teresa. I'm so excited to share what you're doing with others. And you're so accessible and relatable. And you have the best laugh.
Oh, thank you. I know.
I actually missed your laugh after the
Oh,
conference ended and you were gone. I was like, I could hear and feel your breath and your laughter around me. And I was like, oh, she has the best laugh.
well, it's so, I mean, our bodies are so amazing and it's so funny. I mean, I think my stress reflexes are so funny. And then, my body's always like teaching me like how to relax. So it's like this, it's just beautiful dialogue and relationship with ourself and our bodies. And then it has to be like contagious in my mind. Like most of us didn't learn to sit, move, breathe, and stand. So how do we bring it in a popular education way that's memorable and easy to learn and that's accessible to everybody? It's like, and so it's really, we've designed it both with clinical and community applications, just because it's like most of us like, didn't ever learn to breathe. I was one of those. And so I had to learn
Mhm.
along the way, And so
Yes,
like
this is
it's so nice to
useful for everyone,
yeah.
all ages. Thank you, Teresa, so much for sharing this with us today. And I'm really excited that people can find you online and that you offer plenty of tools and classes and coaching and keynotes and whatever the best way is for people to learn this. And I got to watch at a conference, a whole room of people at the same time get it instantly. You're a great teacher.
Yes. And thank you so much. And thanks for all you're doing. I think with all this boundary crossing time,
Mhm.
like for a lot of us, these restorative, finding the restorative practices that work for us. It's like it's so much part of restoring our boundaries is knowing how to restore our nervous system and come back into, this place of connection with ourselves.
On that note, thank you.
Take good care. Bye-bye.